Hello everyone, welcome back to Wartales. In this video I'll be talking about the new community update which was released yesterday on the 9th of February, and if you are interested in seeing what are all the new things that are implemented in this version of the game, please continue to watch the video. So let's start. First thing that you essentially can already see on the screen is the new feature called the Questlog. If you open the map, you have this icon on the top left corner of your screens, and you can click and see all the missions in all the regions that you unlocked, and essentially you can see the location where you got the mission, and you can read about what you have to do to finish the chosen mission. This is absolutely a step in the right direction. It gives you information which you didn't have before, and thumbs up for this. The second thing, which I cannot show you at the moment, we would have to walk to the location, but I already checked it before and I'm gonna just talk briefly about it. The second new feature is Respecialisation. They have added the new buildings which are called companion training grounds, and these are those locations, this one and this one in Deltron, which are yet not explored, but essentially you can go there and you can get the things which you could get in the black market. So for example, you can get skill mastery books, and you can get some ability books which all cost 300 gold, which is not too cheap, but it's not too costly. So if you need the money, you can always do some additional bounty missions and get enough gold to buy this. The second new feature is connected to the camp, or I should say to the camping gear. Now you can craft a camp chest. It costs 6 iron and 6 wood, and if you craft it, you have essentially additional storage space. When I said that I'm okay with the first two features, this one is like, it has some positives, but I think it lacks the main thing that the people wanted. People wanted a new storage space where they can store the items so that they don't have the problems with carrying limit. And this camp chest doesn't solve that problem, because you can store items in the chest, as you can see here, but the complete weight stays the same. Only it transfers from the inventory to the chest. The good thing is that now you can basically remove the things that you don't use from the inventory, and you can have much clearer inventory, and you basically don't need to carry so much stuff in the inventory. But the chest doesn't solve the problem regarding the weight limit. Also, if you have some crafting ingredients in the chest, you cannot use them. You need to transfer them to the inventory before using them. So I think this needs a bit of work still. I would really like that it is available to store food in the chest, and then when you get to the camp, you can essentially use that food right from the chest. I don't think that's an option at this version. Yeah, now it's like inventory, there's nothing in it, we cannot use the food from the chest, so we have to do this. We have to essentially transfer everything. I don't know how to transfer everything. Okay, I just click. So in my opinion, it's a good idea, but it still needs some additional work. The next thing that was changed is the UX. You can now sort your inventory. Yep, there are options. You can choose to sort the items by type, by price, by weight, which is okay, all useful. And you can do the same thing if you go to the camp chest. The next thing, when an item is on sale, you should now also see the correct original price to compare both. I was thinking about that when I read the change, but I think that it was always like when the item was on sale, it was like 50% of the normal price. So I don't think they changed that. I'm not quite sure, but I don't think they changed that. But now they just gave you an option to see the normal price. The next changes are all connected to the professions. Crafting an alchemy recipe now grants more experience. Okay, I would say that this is good, because in my opinion this one, miner and blacksmith, were the professions that got too much experience, or maybe not too much. They got the most experience and they leveled up pretty fast. I wasn't quite sure that the alchemist needed a boost, okay, but I was definitely thinking that this one, no, sorry, Reggie, that the cook needs a boost. He cooked so many meals and he still didn't get to level 3, so this is, I have nothing against giving a buff to alchemy, but I think they should maybe think about giving buffs to also the fishing maybe and cooking. The next change is crafting a blacksmith recipe now grants less experience. Okay, that was expected. I definitely applaud that. Maybe they should think about doing the same thing with the miner. Fish oil has been added to each apothecary. It will now be easier to craft oils. I also checked that, so essentially when you go to the shop, to the alchemist, you can buy fish oil. You don't have to acquire it any other way. You should now gather more iron if you succeed in your gathering. Also, in my playthrough, I have to say that I wasn't in a situation where I needed iron, where I couldn't find it or something like that. There's enough of it on the map, and I'm not quite sure why they thought they need to boost this, but I don't think it's going to be a bad thing. The next thing which I'm going to talk about are the changes connected to the world. Now, not only that you get more iron when you gather, but you should now gather more wood in the world. I'm not sure if the wood is going to be more, how should I say, more frequently found on the map, or you're going to get larger quantities when you find it, but okay. Again, I have no objections to this change. The thing that maybe is going to change gameplay for most of us is connected to the items. The operation of throwing weapons has now been changed. Their use is unique, but you can craft them by stacks. Also, their price, weight and craft recipe has been updated. This is going to affect the blinding powder, incendiary flask, hand bomblet, throwing axe, poison throwing knife and throwing knife. So essentially now when you crafted, or not now, before, when you crafted incendiary flask, you could craft it once and you could use it essentially all the time. If you had enough valor points in the battle, you could throw it as many times as you wanted, unlimited times. Now, if I understand this change correctly, if you craft one, you're going to have one. When you throw the first one, you're going to have 0. You will need to craft additional ones. If I'm not mistaken, I kind of like this change. I mean, it feels the game is getting more realistic. I mean, you can't just craft one flask and use it all the time. It doesn't make sense. So again, I think this is a good change. The next one, which is also connected to the world, and which in my opinion was a game-breaking thing, which I talked about in one of my previous episodes, is that the hideouts didn't basically reset when they got to level 0. I had a problem with clearing this Artes Bandit lair, so we got like 33 enemies, and I wanted to say we got to level 0 and then just it didn't matter. We got 33 enemies when we attacked the bandit lair. So this was definitely broken, and I'm really glad that they decided to fix it. I already went there. Yeah, we don't have the money to pay. Okay, I already went there and decided to check if this is really fixed or not. And it really is now, now they don't have 33 enemies, they have like 4, 8, 11, like 11 bandits in the camp when it is on level 0. Maybe until the end of this episode I can get to that location and show you. The next thing, we have 2 changes that are connected to the scenarios. Now you should be able to complete the Edoran scenario alongside Wartales. So, as I thought in the playthrough, we sided with hard, whatever, because we essentially didn't have any choice to side with Wartales. Now that is going to be changed. The next change is that the merchant in Wartales castle should now correctly sell her items. I don't know where's the merchant in his castle, because there's only an apothecary, and to be honest I didn't realize that she was selling wrong items, but okay, let's trust the developers on this one. So I finished the world changes, I finished the scenario changes, and the next thing that I need to talk about is combat. These are also some good improvements and good changes. The first one is about ambushing the enemies. Before, when you ambushed the group of enemies, they were all scattered around the battlefield, just like your people, and you got some bonuses, you got some buffs because you did the ambush, but essentially didn't mean that much. Now the enemies are going to be in the middle of the map and your guys are going to surround them, which is also a step in the right direction and totally realistic situation. The second thing that was changed about the combat was that the enemy bowmen will now have a chance to shoot their allies. Also, when you are fighting against the Phantom Swarm, you had mechanics that if the unit kills an enemy, the terror is reduced by 3 instead of 1, but it wasn't reduced for it's not reduced for the whole team, but only for the mercenary that killed the animal, swarm animal. So essentially now it's going to be kind of harder. You will have to pay more attention to the ones that are getting hit, because if somebody else kills the enemy, they don't lose the terror. Oil effects have now more chances to be triggered. Okay, yeah, I got pretty far in the game but still don't use oil, so essentially I can't say anything about this change. And finally, the economy. Trinkets selling price has been reduced. I think this is the thing that just hits us, just like the inflation that's happening in the real world. This sad news. Yeah, I'm kind of making fun of this. We're gonna have to get money some other ways. In the end, there are some bug fixes which you can see in the link, which I'm going to leave in the description of this video. I'm not going to go through the fixes. And yeah, I just wanted to show you that the Bandit lair has reset normally. Now there are 11 people, 11 bandits in it. They're level 6, but this is way better than, I don't know, 33 level 5 bandits on level 0 Bandit lair, which is great. And that's all for the changes. And I left the biggest change for the last. And to show you what I'm talking about, we need to go back to the menu, because we need to start a new game to implement this. So essentially this is the only thing that you cannot change in your previous started saves, but you have to start from the beginning. Now you have those two modes: free exploration and region locked. Region locked essentially means that you don't have the scaling, you don't have the level scaling for the enemies. So every region has some kind of, they don't have some kind, they have predetermined levels of the enemies which are in those regions. I think the situation is that the lower level enemies are closer to the cities and the higher level enemies are further from the cities. So you can basically start from the Tiltren, or I guess maybe any other starting region which you can choose, and you're gonna have the low level enemies. Then when you switch to the other region, you're gonna have some tougher times fighting. I watched the video from the Kagal and he said he had problems with this. He started, if I remember correctly, in the Tiltren, and then when he went to Vertrus there were like level 6 enemies and he was like level 4, and that didn't go really well. So I'm not sure which mode would be the best, the unit scaling mode or this region locked one, but I'm happy that the developers gave us a choice. I think that's the most important thing. And also I'm kind of prone to starting a new let's play with this exploration mode, region locked, just to see how the new mode is working. So I think I covered everything that was on the changelog. If you think that I missed something, if you don't agree with something that was said, if you have something to add to this, please leave a comment. And yeah, subscribe to the channel, like the video if you like this, and that's it. See you in the next one. Bye bye.